The outcome that will be discussed in this tutorial is an evolutionary explanation on behavior. Evolutionary psychology is based on the key principles in the biological level of analysis. Assuming that a predisposition of behavior is inherited, the principles of evolution dictate that genetically based behaviors of an individual who has reproduced are passed on, while genetically based behaviors of unsuccessful individuals are lost over time. This then means that behaviors observed today should logically have evolutionary explanations to them. In essence, if behavior exists in humans today, then it must be in the past which have helped human survival and reproduction. An aspect of evolutionary psychology that is being focused on here is the topic of the evolution of the emotion disgust. So what is disgust? First of all, we all know that yuck and ew are two of the most common phrases you hear that are associated with disgust. We say these phrases because disgust is an emotion motivating avoidance of contact with many stimuli associated with pathogen transmission, such as infectious, rotten food, or disease-ridden environments like garbage dumps. Fessler is one of the lead contributors in evolutionary psychology. His primary area of research is the emotion which we just previously discussed. This emotion is the emotion disgust. Fessler says, the basic logic is that natural selection can shape the mind to shape behavior. This simply means that traits or emotions that have gone through natural selection are closely linked to our behavior. Because he views natural selection in this way, he sees the emotion of disgust differently than the rest of us. To him, it is not just an emotion. According to his research, disgust helped our ancestors reproduce in a world filled with pathogens. To prove his point, Fessler has conducted a study on pregnant women. The experiment was designed to show how disgust can protect a woman during her most vulnerable time. Like in the first trimester of pregnancy, when the woman's immune system is suppressed to keep her from rejecting the infusion of new genetic material in her womb. Since disease is generally passed from one person to another through contact, Fessler reasoned that women would find some things particularly disgusting during that critical first trimester. The method in which he used to conduct his experiment involved data collection by using a web-based questionnaire. 496 women in total participated. These women were all either in the first, second, or third trimester of their pregnancy. They were asked to rate levels of disgust in different scenarios. For example, a fishhook or nail through the finger, or maggots on a piece of meat in an outdoor garbage pail. A 16-point scale was used to report levels of nausea. The questionnaire was also interspersed with filler questions to distract participants from ruminating about disgust. An example question is, do you plan to choose a name for your baby before or after birth? The study revealed that women in the first trimester, within 0 to 13 weeks of pregnancy, showed more disgust sensitivity. Due to greater vulnerability to infection in the first trimester, disgust sensitivity should be heightened during this period than in other trimesters. The result of disgust sensitivity means that there is less contact with possible infectious or contaminated substances that could harm the mother and/or the baby. This suggests that disgust is an adaptation that had and still has a central role in procreation, as well as serving to guard against disease. In conclusion, as Fessler said, the emotion allowed our ancestors to survive long enough to produce offspring, who in turn passed the same sensitivities on to us, he said, and this is a proposed reason as to why we experience disgust.